Hi, this is James Malinchak, featured on ABC's hit television show, Secret Millionaire. And I am so excited to be here with two friends today, Jared Elson and Don Burgess, who are nationally recognized authors, speakers, and wealth planners. Hey guys, welcome.
Hey James, it's great to be here today.
Great to have
James,
you here.
great to have you.
Don, great to have you. So let's jump right into it. So who do you guys work with?
Well, James, we work with retired professionals and business owners, and also those who would like to retire and retire right.
No, who doesn't want to retire, right?
Everybody does.
So what, in your years of working with these folks, what have you found they really want?
Well, quite frankly, they just want security. They really are worried about running out of money. And we find that no matter how much or how little they might have, that's a big concern for them.
So basically the 3 Ps, protect, preserve, and create peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what you really are helping
Correct.
us
Yeah.
with.
Yep.
Well, you guys are so passionate. This is not like a career or a job for you. This is a mission, a
Correct.
passion.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about your story. How did you discover this passion for wanting to help folks?
Well, for me, it goes way, way back. When I was a kid, I also had my first experience to investing, but also something that kind of changed the course of my life forever. When I was about 12 years old, I didn't have enough income, or I thought, so the allowance wasn't cutting it. And so,
Even at 12,
even at 12, I was like, right there. So I went to my grandparents and said, I'd really like to do the yard work, do the lawn. And they said, okay, that's great, but I had a problem. I had no equipment. And they said, well, we're going to buy some equipment for you on the basis of a loan, right? And I said, half of what you make every week, you'll pay back for the loan. I said, sounds great. Got to the end of the loan being paid off, and I said, great, I got a full paycheck this week. And then Grandma took me aside and said, all right, now we're going to take that half and we're going to invest it.
Wow, at 12 years old?
At 12 years old, yeah. So back then we took out the book, looked up a mutual fund, and started, picked one out, and just 10 bucks a week went into that mutual fund. So finance and investing has been a part of my life for a long time.
Yeah.
But through that experience, I also developed a passion just for letting people know that I cared, and always letting them know that whatever I could do to help, I wanted to do that. And doing the yard work, I would spend some time with my grandfather as well. And after I was done, we'd get together and play cards or something like that. But as I grew older, it's got other things to do, right? You just kind of left. And there was one week when I left and didn't say goodbye. And then he had passed away a few days later. And from that moment, I said, if I ever get a chance to tell somebody I care or give them an opportunity to help them, it's just in my DNA. And I never want to miss that chance again. And so being in this business, I get to help people every single day live the life that they want to live in retirement, and absolutely love it.
Wow, that's great.
that's
Don, how did you get started and
Well,
develop
actually,
this passion?
Kind of a similar story, but a little bit different. When I was about 10 or 12 years old, I actually went to my grandfather and said, you know what, I love my dad. He's a great guy. He was a great father. But he said he's always gone. He's always busy. He was a high-tech executive in California. And I said, you guys get to stick around the house and play cards, play golf, and have fun and take me to lunch. So I said, I want to skip that part where you go to work every day. I want to go right to the stage where you guys are at. And they said, well, Don, you got to build up a nest egg in order for you to get there. And I remember my grandfather's talking about this over and over again. They kept talking about this thing called mailbox money. And they said, you got to go to your mailbox eventually and have build up enough of an accumulated assets to have money coming in all the time, whether you go to work or not. And so our next title of our next book actually is Mailbox Money.
I love that.
After a tribute to my grandfather. And again, similar story. I had one grandfather was very successful, retired very early. The other grandfather couldn't, and I saw the stress and strain in that relationship and the challenges they had. And quite frankly, they weren't as happy as the other grandparents. Now, money's not the most important thing, but again, it created an atmosphere for them to do the things they wanted to do. And I'm always reminded of the famous quote from Zig Ziglar. He said, money's not the most important thing, but it is close to oxygen at times.
Right. You guys have identified many challenges that we go through, right? When it comes to money issues. We don't have time to go through all of them, but how about touching on a few of them?
No, we touched on it earlier, right? How a lot of folks are worried about running out of money. And it's interesting whether you have $500,000, $100,000, or $10 million. I get the same thing. I'm really worried about running out of money before I run out of life. That's absolutely number one. 2 out of 3 people, according to the AARP, are more worried about running out of money than they are about dying.
That's unbelievable.
Isn't that interesting?
It is
And
interesting.
I think, the thing is volatility in the market. People don't think about that. And the other thing they don't think about when they're pre-retirees is taxes. And Jared is great at reminding them, hey, you're going to have some tax basis here that basically isn't going to really go down when you do retire. And that's been a big issue. People discover taxes,
Well,
volatility, and the
I
medical
don't-
system.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Medical
healthcare
system.
costs
Oh, gosh.
going up, probably you don't plan for that.
Correct. The healthcare industry is changing. In our market, we're seeing a lot of doctors go to a different system, which is costing them more money. So they have a little more access to the doctors, but the challenge is getting the proper care they need as well. And that's been a challenge for our retirees as well.
You know what I think is probably another challenge that kind of connects into what you were just talking about, outliving your money, running out of money, if you will,
Right.
is procrastination. You know, what I call the someday syndrome. You know, I'll get to that planning stuff someday.
Correct.
Don't need to worry about it right now. You know, maybe they think, well, I've got X number of years before I'm going to I'll worry about it later. What do you say to that person?
Yeah, I mean, the time to start is now, right?
I always say the best time to start is any day that ends in Y.
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent, James.
The earlier you start, the easier it's going to be. And we get a lot of folks that come in, they're in their 40s and their 50s, and just go, I haven't really done anything, and I need to start now. And if you start earlier, you can have a much better nest egg and a much better retirement, but also you can enjoy that time more because maybe you're not having to save as aggressively. So the best time to start, if you haven't started, is today.
Today, right?
And then the other issue with that too, James, is the fact people come in with a lot of fear. People say, I've been procrastinating. And we kind of dig a little bit deeper with some questions that we have, find that there's a lot of fear to really approach that and understand that. So once we actually help them work through what that fear is, they may have got bitten by an investment that didn't work out for them, or what we call is, mental accounting about how they save for money but yet have huge credit card debt, and all these kinds of things that create a bias in their minds that help them procrastinate. We help them work through that so they can understand, hey, now's the time to get started. You said any day that ends in Y.
Right. I've found that for a lot of people, wealth planning, financial planning, it's not really their fault if they haven't gotten started, because we were never taught this. You guys had amazing grandparents, right? I'm 12 years old, putting money away for mutual fund. I was never taught any of this in school, so it's not really our fault that we maybe procrastinate a little bit, but once now that we're aware that amazing guys like you exist, and you can actually put us on a plan that could help us create peace of mind and preserve and protect and create financial freedom and time for us, then it becomes our fault.
Correct.
Because there's an alternative. There's no
Correct.
excuse now, when someone's watching this video and knows that you guys could help us.
Correct.
Right? So what I love that you guys do, and I want you to talk about this for a second, is it's not a one-size-fits-all for anybody who walks in your office, right? I mean, if I walk in, I have different needs, I have a different situation than someone else. So talk about how you really take the time and the care to make sure that each plan, each roadmap is specific for someone's situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. And so we want to sit down and get to know you and understand primarily what your goals are. So if we don't understand what your goals are, and we can't help you get there, right? And we got to develop a roadmap. Where do we want to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10
And
years
that's always
from now?
changing, right?
And
that's why it's important to keep meeting with you guys.
That's
yeah,
correct.
absolutely. And so we become your guide, if you will, taking you down that path all
Almost
the way.
like financial doctors.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
a doctor's so important for our livelihoods. Finances are so important. You become that, that main doctor I go to.
That's correct. And I think to add a little bit what Jared's saying is that the questions we do ask sort of deeply go into the subconscious mind. So a lot of people say, well, I want more money, I want this type of return, we want that. We say, well, now that you have that, what is it you're going to be doing? And they go, wow, I've never really thought about that. Well, what would you like to do? Where would you like to go? And of course, travel usually comes up, or gardening and grandkids. But they've stopped dreaming, James. They've stopped dreaming. And now we help them dream again and put all that together, not only their finances, but put their lives back together. And we've seen relationships get back together. And that's exciting. That's what gets us passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah, it's much more deeper than money.
Correct.
Right.
But it's so important because it's a foundation that helps you do the things, like Zig, the great
Correct.
Zig Ziglar, right?
Awesome guy.
Put it right up there with breathing and oxygen.
Absolutely.
Hard to take that trip, hard to,
Right.
plan for elderly parents, hard to help
Correct.
put your kids through school if you don't have money.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, or if you outlive your money, it's hard
Correct.
to like have the same lifestyle in retirement.
That's correct. So therefore, people have stopped dreaming. So we help them
Sure.
dream again and put that together. That's what gets me up in the morning. every
You're
morning,
dream
when
makers.
you can do that. Yes.
Actually, you're dream reigniters.
Correct.
Reigniters,
yeah.
Correct.
So what do you say to the person that says, you know, I've been great over here in my career, my business, my whatever. I'll probably be great over here. I'll just kind of do it myself. What do you say to the person that says, I don't know if I need to hire professionals?
Exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, it's it depends on what their occupation is. You know, let's say they're an airline pilot, right? You know, that's a very specialized field. It takes a lot of training, and when they are taking the airplane off and they're landing the airplane,
Sure.
you know, they're only people in the world that are qualified to do that. I
Right.
couldn't watch some videos on
Yeah,
YouTube
you wouldn't want- yeah.
and be able to take
I watched
the
a
plane
couple
up and
YouTube
down.
videos. I'm going to go fly a
Right.
plane.
And so it's the same thing with what we do.
Right.
We live it, we breathe it, we're in it every single day. And when you come and see us, there are hundreds of people that we've gone through the same path with before. We know what's coming that maybe you haven't thought of. And having somebody who's been there and that's what they do all day, every day, can really help you have a better outcome in the end.
See, what I love is you haven't been there, done that. You've been there, done that, and are still doing it, and you do it for yourself. You
That's
started
correct.
at 12.
That's correct. That's correct. And I think the other thing too, to add to what Jared's saying as it relates to, you know, working with clients with this sort of self, you know, people that want to do it themselves, is that quite frankly, we honor. We just say, you know what, you're a very intelligent individual, you're very successful, you got to where you are, we're very successful, but we don't know anything about what you're doing, and there's a lot of things you really don't know about us. So let's talk about your education in the finance area, and then we'll go through that a little bit. And I find there's two styles. There's the engineer in Silicon Valley, we're in Silicon Valley,
Right.
who says, well, I want to learn and understand it to figure out a way to move forward with you.
Sure.
Or there's the engineer that says, I want to kind of rebuild it and kind of do it on my own anyway.
Right.
So we're really not a good fit. So that's okay. We move them on. We've hopefully given us some advice to make their life more enriched, and everybody's happy. So,
Well,
yeah.
Don, I got something for you.
Yeah.
You know, I listen to the media, I hear these financial people on these
Yeah.
shows, or I read a blog, right? And isn't everything on the blog and in the media correct?
No, in fact, that's not to be sort of a bottom line kind of guy. But the challenge is that we had a wonderful lady, and I want to point out, Jared does a wonderful class in the evenings. He's a great teacher. He teaches this great class on retirement planning, income planning. I do the dinner seminars. We do radio. And so if you hear us on radio, you hear us at the dinner seminars, we're constantly talking about the fact that the internet is, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we talk about being sort of a little bit like the great bathroom wall. So we suggest to people on how to approach the internet. I don't know if I want to put this on the CD or not, we can edit it out. But I say to people, look, Mother Teresa, my understanding, was a wonderful individual. So go home tonight, folks, and type in Mother Teresa is bad. And you'll see page after page after page that would disagree with that.
Wow.
And again, we had another lady come in from our radio show. She came in and said, you know, I've been to the internet and I don't understand it. I've been retired for 2 years. In fact, she was a paralegal from a very prominent law firm in our area, and said, I'm spending more money in retirement, but the internet told me that I'd be spending less. And I said, well, there's your chance. And then she had some misconceptions about long-term care and the medical system because the internet. I even said to her, I said, you've been watching the internet, right? Or listening. She goes, yeah, how'd you know? I said, because I know the sound bites that are out there to really redirect you in, I think, an improper way.
Ah, but Don, everything on the internet is true.
That's what we hear, right?
Well, that's what we get
I
led
read
to
it
believe.
online,
Yeah.
it must be true. And,
Right.
you know, the fact is that online anybody can say
Anything.
anything.
And you don't even need
there's
credentials.
No filter, no credentials,
experience.
no experience
Yeah.
or background or
Yeah.
anything, right? So you really got to be careful with what information you're looking at.
You know, the bottom line is we have more information today, James, than somebody received. You get more information today in one day than somebody received in the 18th and 19th century their whole life.
Wow.
So we have a plethora of information. We don't have a plethora of time. So we help people discern that information. Yeah.
So this has been amazing. Well, what's the next step for someone watching?
Well, really, James, we've found that if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And so we've put together some free, valuable resources, and the information is available below at the bottom of the screen for anybody that would like to get a hold of those.
Well, you guys are doing great work. This has been wonderful.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
James. It
so
was a
much
pleasure.
for
Thank you,
being
James.
here. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Pleasure.
So what are you waiting for? Procrastination is the enemy of your financial success. Don't wait. Go to the bottom of the screen right now, click on the link, and get these free valuable resources. They're totally complimentary. Or better yet, dial the number and call and talk to these great guys. Talk to their team, schedule an appointment, go in and meet with them, and let them really give you a plan that helps you get from where you are to where you want to be.
Yes.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm James Malinchak.
We used to have pensions, our Social Security, and some savings. And those pensions have largely gone away. And it's just down to Social Security and savings. And savings for some folks has been very successful, and for others, they did not save or they got wiped out by market crashes, and it can be tough.
Statistically, if you've worked 30, 40 years, you've now spent 90,000 hours working. We want to make sure you have 90,000 hours in retirement to enjoy that money that you've saved up. Our focus here, folks, is for successful retirement. We do not want our clients to worry about income. And as Zig Ziglar said, money's not the most important thing, but it's really close to oxygen.
At Regent Wealth Management, we're really a full-service financial planning, financial advising, legacy optimizing firm. We really focus on the preservation cycle of life and really making sure our clients can enjoy and have the type of retirement that they wanted to have.
Being an independent is very important because it has to do with fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary is the root word for trust, and the way we're licensed, the way we're audited here, the way our business is structured, is we are a fiduciary for our clients. That is not the case with all financial advisors. We decided a long time ago when we started this company, we would be customer-centric. We would be working with the clients. It would be a lifelong relationship, and we would look for appreciative people who respected us and what we were doing for them.
One of the things that I really appreciate working with Don and Jared, my advisors both are ethically and morally trustworthy to their clientele. They really care about what goes on in their clients' lives, as well as making sure that their finances are well taken care of.
How are you, my dear? I'm good.
Our experience here is one of family, one of community.
We want our clients to know, their kids to know, their families to know that whatever it is that we do for our clients, we're recommending it with their best interests in mind.
We work very hard to make people feel comfortable so that they can put trust into us.
You've worked hard, and now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, to not feel the stress and pressures of trying to manage a portfolio, watching a portfolio go up and down every night, but really to take the fruits of those labor, enjoy the income off of that portfolio, and live the lifestyle and retirement that you would desire to live.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Don Burgess with my partner Jared Elson. We're excited this afternoon to be sharing the stage with Steve Forbes here at the Success in the New Economy Summit. And we're here in New York City, Times Square, and we're excited to be here. And so what we thought we'd do is actually start with a quote from a famous economist. Her name actually is Sophie Tucker. Now, some of you may not know her as an economist. In fact, she was a famous vaudeville and Broadway actress, but she was known for her quips and her knowledge and wisdom about life. And she was here on stage in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And one of the great things that Sophie Tucker did say is about life and money. And she goes like this. She says, you know, when a young girl is born, from age 0 to age 18, she needs good parents. From 18 to 35, she needs good looks. From 35 to 55, she needs a good personality. And folks, from 55 on, what does every girl know that she needs? Is cold hard cash. And cash income is what she's looking for. But folks, we know that consistently recent surveys have shown that affluent Americans have been very dissatisfied with their financial advisors due to the fact they're not proactively planning for future issues and events that occurred during retirement. So that's why it's important to find an advisor who takes a very proactive and logical approach to go through a discovery process with you and your finances to put together the proper plan that's correct for you. But historically speaking, Jared and I see lots of people come through our office on a daily basis that have purchased products primarily from the financial community or from the insurance community and have expectations that are not met. In fact, they're dissatisfied with what they've done because they've looked at products or perhaps done their own planning and not met with a professional to take the corrective course of action to learn the right questions to ask when they do sit down with a financial professional. And folks, that's what makes our firm different. If there was a piece of missing information or a very important fact as it related to the success of your retirement, when would you want to know about it? Well, it turns out most people will learn about it now, but some people say, well, I can learn about it 5, 10, 15 years when I'm in retirement. But of course, we want to learn that as soon as possible, especially when that very important fact and piece of missing information affects our money at risk, perhaps our money at risk in the stock market. So what we want to do is do it differently, and that's what makes our firm different. We want to identify those facts and those misconceptions and myths and critical pieces of information in order for you to have a successful retirement and have a successful financial retirement. Because many times investors don't have a process to filter out myths, misconceptions, and must-know critical facts to make a logical decision for your future. Do you know what questions to ask? And now my great partner Jared's going to go through those questions to ask.
All right. Thanks, folks. So as Don had mentioned, we'd come up with a very simple 3-step process that you can implement yourself, that we've implemented in our practice. And we want to make sure you find out what those questions to ask are. Things that you need to be concerned about, or have you quantified hidden fees, taxes, or risk issues? And have you made decisions that have been based on myths and misconceptions, opinions, or missing facts? Each investment product that is available today has a place and a specific purpose where it may fit properly into your investment planning or your own retirement planning. But without a complete review of your personal situation, risk tolerance, income needs, tax situations, long-term care needs, estate concerns, or even charitable desires, no one person, no one investment advisor should have an opinion on whether a specific product is right for you without going through a discovery process to discover what these concerns are. And so it's this discovery of your true needs and desires that is the first step you should be taking, not the choice of an investment product that historically many people have made as their first step. Too many investment decisions are what we call product-led today. You find out about a type of product or a class of investment and go there without going through a process to discover if it truly meets your needs. And so this 3-step process involves 3 things. Your tax review, an income planning and analysis, and risk analysis. And if we don't start with those 3 things when evaluating any investment decision, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So a 3-step review process that helps you discover whether or not your current strategies match up with your plans for the future, helps you create a sound plan based on facts and logic rather than emotions and opinions. As an example, we're going to talk about real estate today, and you can really see the wonderful benefit of implementing this 3-step process. So let's say you had a piece of property, a real estate that you're contemplating selling. What are some of the things that you should go through before making the decision to sell or not? The first step is a complete review of your tax return and to determine what your current tax situation is and what tax issues may be associated with or compounded by the sale of your property, thus allowing you to prepare for the cost of implementation and correct strategy for taxes. You may be able to lower your taxes, eliminate your taxes, or the sale of this property may create a tax burden for you and you need to properly plan for that. The second step is undergoing an income analysis to determine if you're using your income sources correctly. This piece of property may be an investment property, driving some income for you. Are you taking income from it appropriately? Can you drive income from the proceeds of the sale? Will you have adequate income in the future to replace any lost income from selling that real estate? Will it meet your future needs for moving into an apartment or condo if you're considering selling your personal property? Or again, will you be able to replace income from a rental property? The third step, and really the most important step, is a risk analysis and determining if you're currently uncomfortable with your current risk exposure and what might be stopping you from making the decision to sell that property. You may be very nervous about investing those dollars and the risk associated with investing those dollars in place of real estate. So with this example and really understanding the risk, you're kind of getting your financial house in order before you sell your physical house. It assures you that the decision to sell is going to be right for you, or you may come to the conclusion that we shouldn't be selling. And you're going to be able to make a transition in life knowing that you've gone through all the critical facts. There really is no better time to look forward and take control than with a 3-step review when thinking about major investments or concerns over your investments. You'll find out by using this process if you'll have problems like phantom income taxation or other tax issues. Preparing to sell real estate, you need to increase your income stream or lower your risk level. Perhaps some other major events in life that may cause you to have to do this is you've lost a spouse and you're now making financial decisions on your own that you would have made in concert with your spouse. Are you retiring or rolling over a large sum of money, taking money out of that 401k and looking to put it into an IRA? How are you going to have that money work best for you? So by going through this process, a complete discovery of what you want your money to do for you is going to be the most important first step. A wonderful benefit of taking this is that it really applies to any financial decision or concern that you might have, no matter what is going on in the economy. It really helps you stop your money from falling through the cracks, and in this new economy, more than ever, it's important to stop money from going through the cracks. So, in other words, learn what questions to ask before making any financial decision and have a process that identifies ways to assure your decisions are in your best interest. So I'm running out of time here. I just wanted to say thank you again very much for the opportunity to speak with you today, and may you all have prosperous lives in the future. Thank you.